Hello, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Keon.
This is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast where we threaten people with a hat stand because this week we watched Frontios.
Written by Christopher H. Bidmead.
Gotta get that H. Directed by Ron Jones.
And aired in January and February of 1984.
Pretty sure that H stands for Hamilton. You know, like the musical.
Okay.
It's not actually a joke. I'm pretty sure it stands for Hamilton.
All right.
Yeah, fun fact. For all you people at home, I guess.
It's more of a, what? I don't know. It's not really a boring fact, but it's not really a fun fact either.
It's just a fact.
It's just sort of a fact that you learn in a state of, like, not having much fun. It's like you could be doing something else, but, like, you don't have anything else to do, so you're doing this.
Talking about the fact of the podcast.
Anyway, it begins in some mines.
Yeah, well, some people are just walking around some mines
And breathing in the toxic air. No.
Probably,
That wasn't a part of this serial, but still probably was going on.
probably cutting years off their lives just being in the mines. Anyway, there's a cave-in.
Yeah, and this guy gets covered in rubble and dies.
Ish. Well, Brazen comes in, he's like, no! And he, like, uncovers the guy, and then he gets sucked into the earth.
Yeah, he...
Well, not the earth, the
Dematerialized.
Frontios, the planet.
Yeah, because they're on Frontios. The final frontier, no.
Maybe that's why they call it Frontios.
And then it cuts to the TARDIS, and the Doctor's worried about a hat stand.
Yeah, he's like, I don't wear my hat anymore. Why do we have this hat stand here? He's like, I have another one in another room. I'll just take this and put it next to it, and they can be twins.
And then they realize they've materialized, or that they're going to materialize on Frontios, and the Doctor's like, nah, we can't go to Frontios, because that's like the last vestige of the human race ever. And I was like, what about the Sevateam? What about the Tesh?
That's even more future. They're not really humans anymore when they become the Sevateam.
They're what, Sevateam?
Yeah, the Sevateam.
All right. Well, yeah, then Tegan is like, oh man, the last vestige of the human race.
Yeah, the Doctor actually seems really concerned that they're Frontios. Like, he's more concerned than usual that they're landing somewhere.
But they do it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice. They get sucked down onto the planet thanks to those gravitational beams. You find out later.
Yeah. And they're greeted by a colorful cast of characters, including Brazen, who was pretty brazen, and Range and Plantagenet, who was, I don't know, just...
He was Plantagenet.
And Range, who was part of a secret society. I think.
No, I think he was just, I don't know.
He was Norna's
to be honest,
father.
I don't know.
Because Norna shows up, and within the first 3 seconds of her being on screen, I was like, oh, so Tegan's going to get written out, and she's going to be a new companion.
No.
But no.
But we don't get Chameleon in the serial.
Honestly, I don't know why I thought this, but at the end when Gravis or whatever it was they were going to take Gravis away, I was like, maybe they're actually going to deposit Chameleon, who's like posing as Gravis, and it's going to be a large part of next serial that Gravis is still on the TARDIS. And then I realized the next serial had the Daleks in it, and that they would never go through with something as cool as that. And I was like, okay, no.
Wait, is Chameleon dead? Because the TARDIS blew up.
Yeah, what if Chameleon just died? That's how they write out Chameleon.
They just never mention him again. Or 3 weeks from now, like, hey, remember when the TARDIS blew up? Yeah, Chameleon died. Okay. So, Range is like, well, guys should like come and help in the medical bay, because all of a sudden an orbital bombardment starts and they start getting
Yeah.
hit by like asteroids.
Yeah, or maybe it's meteorites.
Dang
or
it.
meteors.
Why do we never remember?
There's a chart.
I think they come from asteroids, because the Doctor mentions later that the planet has like an asteroid belt.
And like this was pretty cool. This was one of the first big mysteries of this serial that I was pretty interested in. I was like, oh, why are they getting bombarded? Because they don't even know what's going on. They've been getting bombarded for like 10 years.
Yeah.
But then they like, I don't know, they kind of just follow up on it in the worst way possible. So it was pretty.
It's like this whole season.
It was an interesting part of the serial, though, I thought.
I liked more parts of this serial than previous serials this season, but I still think the serial was pretty boring.
It was a heck of a lot better than Awakening and Warriors from the Deep.
Yeah, well, a heck of a lot better than negative points is still like 0.
It had some pretty cool concepts, but it wasn't really that great.
It didn't execute them at all. Kind of like last week. Well, anyway, so they kind of all dodge the bombardment, and some people might die. We don't. Well, so we see some people like get hit, and then
they get up. They get up.
But then they like, we've been losing people every bombardment.
But yeah, they get taken to this really awful looking sick bay, and they don't have lights. They set up this colony like 20 years ago, I think, or 30, and they have like not much technology, but some
green ooze.
Yeah, it's becoming another theme here, or I mean, not. It became another theme.
What, the green ooze?
Yeah, a couple serials ago, and it started oozing out of people's faces. And
that wasn't a couple serials ago. That was like Time Flight.
I meant a couple seasons ago. I think I said seasons. I don't know. Maybe I said serials, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe at the end of the season they'll be like, the ooze is following you, Doctor, and the ooze will become a big villain. Nah, who am I kidding? It won't ever be as cool as that, so...
It'd kind of also be out of the blue. It's like, for the past 2 seasons you've been being tailed by the ooze. Yeah, well, whatever. And then Plantagenet, I think, shows up, and he accuses the Doctor and Tegan and Turlough of being the
bombarders.
Yeah, the invasion force.
Well, I mean, it's a reasonable assumption considering they landed during the bombardment.
I mean, not really, like...
I think so.
I mean,
until the next bombardment starts and they start getting injured, and it's like, well, I guess you're not part of the invasion force, because why would they bombard the planet while you're on the planet?
Maybe it's just to throw you off their trail.
Risk killing off your whole invasion force just to throw them off the trail.
Your invasion force of 3, kind of like Day of the Daleks.
Yeah, except the Daleks are like indestructible killing machines. Well, indestructible so far.
Well, the Ogrons weren't.
The Ogrons are... It's just whatever.
So, yeah, the Doctor's like, nah, we're not part of the invasion force. Except he does it a lot more snarkily, because, I don't know, he was getting pretty snarky in this serial. He's just
getting pretty fed up with everyone. At the beginning of his incarnation, he was like pretty chill, and now he's just getting fed up with everyone. He's like, I'm over it.
He's in his twilight years.
But I like that, though. I like the snarky version of this Doctor.
Yeah, he bordered on like Third Doctor-ish at some points, I thought. So it was like,
but he wasn't like... He wasn't as arrogant as the Third Doctor was, I think. He was snarky, but he wasn't arrogant. So I was okay with it.
He's kind of a jerk to Tegan and Turlough to a lesser extent. But
he doesn't, barely even talks to Turlough in this serial.
Yeah, Turlough kind of just loses his mind later on. Or regains his... I don't know. Yeah, so...
the Doctor's the Doctor's helping him with the lights.
Yeah, and Tegan and Turlough go off with Norna to go infiltrate something.
Oh, the, equipment room, I think.
they go to like
Which has been
they go
sealed
into
off.
like I guess they have like this compound, and then they also have the ship that crashed on the planet.
Yeah.
And then they also have like the dissenters who live outside of the colony, kind of like the Gallifreyan dudes.
Yeah, well, they go to the equipment room because they're trying to get like the green ooze battery.
They should just shake all the lamps, because like if you shake them, they glow brighter.
So they they have to break in because the room's been sealed off for like 10 years or whatever. So they go in, and meanwhile outside another bombardment starts,
And they're like, "Oh no!"
and then the TARDIS gets destroyed.
Yeah, the Doctor and Tegan and Turlo show up at the TARDIS, and they're like, "Oh no, it's been destroyed."
And you're
And
like,
I
yeah, right.
And I read, according to the wiki, that the TARDIS was actually supposed to be destroyed here. But then someone or the other was like, that's a pretty bad idea.
That is a pretty bad idea. This is the worst possible idea they've had on the whole show.
Just strand the rest of the show takes place on Frontios.
I would just go in. It'd be so bad. Frontios is okay for one serial, but the whole season, the whole show? No.
Yeah, I don't know whose idea that was, but it sucked.
Also, the TARDIS has been shown to be indestructible before, and they kind of, I guess, just threw that out the window.
I thought it got melded with the Earth.
Yeah, later I just kind of headcanoned it as...
It got sucked in.
Yeah.
Because it was like combined with the cave walls, so...
Which looks pretty cool. It was like the only cool set of this whole story.
Yeah, the rest of this just takes place on your typical gray planet.
Your typical gray spaceship.
Yep. There's probably a rock quarry nearby somewhere.
It's like Underworld.
Well, the tractators looked... who am I kidding? They didn't look good.
Their concept was interesting, but their execution, like everything in this serial, wasn't it?
So yeah, that's how episode 1 ends, and episode 2 begins with Plantagenet being more of a jerk.
Well, he becomes more of a jerk because the Doctor told them that he had showed them the TARDIS to prove that they weren't part of the invasion force. Now the TARDIS has been blown up.
Which doesn't prove that they're
Yeah.
not part of the invasion force in any way.
Nope.
Kind of like in Black Orchid. Another lackluster serial. Black Orchid was fun.
Yeah, that's the key difference. Turlo, the hat stand survives. That key part of the TARDIS machinery, the hat stand survives.
Yeah, everything blows up and gets sucked into the earth except the hat stand.
So Turlo starts wielding it as a weapon because Plantagenet's like, it's the weapon that controls the bombardment.
Well, the reason they thought that was because when Turlo picked it up, there was like this mini explosion, and the Doctor immediately was like, oh, residual energy left by the TARDIS. And then Plantagenet's like, he's got a weapon!
He's got a bomb down!
He's got a gun! That jerk on a plane.
Oh, God.
I have C-gun!
It's like in the A-Team movie with one of the main characters in a train station with a gun. He just fires it and then points at some random guy. It's like, he's got a gun!
I remember when Ebola was a big thing. There was like this guy who just got up on a bus and he was like, guys, I have Ebola. And it caused this huge panic. Anyway.
You can be arrested for that, right?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Pretty sure he didn't have Ebola. Anyway.
Okay. So the doctor's like, well, you'll just have to trust us because Turlough's got a weapon. So they go into the equipment room because the doctor's like, well, we can use some equipment there to try to find out where the bombardment's coming from. And while they're in the room, Turlough accidentally whacks someone with the hat. He whacks Plantagenet with the hat stand.
Yeah, the doctor and Norna actually are concerned about where the bombardments are coming from. Meanwhile, everyone else was just like, why are they coming in? That's pretty confusing because it was like, in 10 years, you didn't really bother to care where they're coming from. Like that would probably be the first clue as to why they're happening. Or that would go like hand in hand with figuring out why they're happening.
Well, they know where they're coming from. They're coming from space.
Yeah, they're like, it could be any of the planets nearby.
Yeah, well, apparently space is just the acceptable answer. It's coming from space.
Well, they were coming from those gravitational nonsenses.
Gravitational beams.
Anyway, yeah, Plantagenet is down for the count.
Turlough smacks him with a hat stand.
And we forgot to mention that Plantagenet is actually Revere's son, who's been put into power because he died. I guess this isn't a democracy. Or maybe it is and they just voted for him. Or maybe he just inherited the power.
I think it's a monarchy, because then later Brazen's like, if they don't see Plantagenet, they'll just go into an uproar and start looting things because they'll assume he's dead.
And that was one of the funniest parts of the serial, because the minute Plantagenet gets sucked into the ground, they start mutinying. Like, there wasn't even time for them to figure out that Plantagenet wasn't around anymore. They just start doing their own thing.
Which doesn't make any sense at all, but...
I guess it was just one guy got wind of it, and anarchy started to seep through their human souls. No, I don't know.
Well, that's a bit dark. So they take Plantagenet to the med bay, and they're like, well, heal up, Plantagenet. If I leave Tegan with Plantagenet. Well, because the doctor's like, can I go investigate something? Plantagenet's like, sure, you saved my life, because I don't remember what happened between him getting whacked with a hat stand and him almost dying.
I'm pretty sure they just took him to the sick bay, and that was part of that.
Oh yeah, they had to jumpstart his heart shoot. I'm forgetting what it's called.
Oh yeah, they had to defibrillate him. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, defib.
No.
The doctor does that.
He does it with I forget what he does it with. It's something.
It's the green goo battery, and he just uses like two frayed ends of the cable.
Doesn't he threaten people with those earlier?
Maybe.
It's like, don't come any closer. Oh no, Tegan does it later. When Brazen and Range are on to how Tegan is on to them.
Yeah, Tegan's like, Range, you seem pretty suspicious. And Range is like, what? No.
And then she opens this drawer with secret documents inside.
Yeah, they prove that Kennedy was killed by the CIA. No. They actually prove that Range has been keeping secrets from everyone. He's been, like, collecting information on everyone getting sucked into the Earth, and he just hasn't been telling anyone.
And there's this, like, pseudo-trial later on, which didn't have anything to do with anything.
Brazen even says it's not a trial. It's a gathering of information. Range.
Anyway, Tegan is left with Plantagenet, and she goes off to do something or the other. And when she comes back, Plantagenet has been sucked into the Earth.
Well, yeah, he rolls off the bed, and then he gets sucked into the Earth, and you're like, well, why did he roll off the bed?
Yeah, I thought he was dead. I thought he rolled off because he died.
Nope.
He just combat rolls off the bed. No. Meanwhile, Turlough is off doing something or the other, and they figure out that there's a secret passage to the underground.
Norna,
yeah,
in the equipment room.
In the equipment room.
The doctor's somewhere.
They figure out that there's a secret passage to the underground caverns.
Yeah, the Turlough goes through this whole Sherlock deduction pattern. He's like, well, Revere must have known, and Revere went into the cave, so where would it be?
And
why
is
this
like,
bait?
Look, this hook goes here, and it's attached to a pulley.
It's like, why is this bait and tackling you?
And they lift it up, and it's really, really light. But they have to pretend that it's really, really heavy. And they go down into the underground caverns.
Yep, and then
Turlough's memory starts to come back about what happened to his planet 1 billion years ago.
he's like,
He mentions the tractators.
How does episode 2 end?
It ends with the Doctor being pulled into that gravity thing.
The Doctor goes down to
Pretty
go look for
lame
them.
cliffhanger.
Tegan also goes down to look for them. I don't know how Tegan ends up.
They all manage to get into the underground caverns. And then the tractators show up and they look like...
Giant insects.
Yeah, they kind of look like roly-polies, but not as... I don't
Cute?
know. Yeah, I guess. And yeah, they have purple gravity beams that they use to suck in the Doctor. And yeah, that's how 2 ends.
Yeah, they're the most stupid weakness, too.
What was their weakness?
The weakness is if the Gravis isn't there, they don't have power.
Oh yeah, that is a pretty stupid weakness. Also, I don't know how they figured it out.
Turlough remembered.
Oh yeah, Turlough remembered. Felt pretty bad for Turlough.
Yeah.
Like, starting now. His backstory is actually kind of...
Tragic.
Yeah. I guess his planet was okay, though. Because before he was like, let's go to my planet. Or maybe his planet has been taken over and he doesn't remember. I don't know. If it's the latter, then... Wow. That's pretty...
Wow. That's pretty dark. So, Tegan chucks the goo battery at the tractator and it distracts him so the Doctor gets freed.
Wait, were they called tractators because they utilize tractor beams?
Yeah, yes.
Wow. Tractor beam potatoes. No.
Potatoes.
It's almost what they looked like. It looked like weird crosses between... Okay, I don't know.
Between what, potatoes and roly-polies?
Yeah.
Some heavy genetic splicing going on there.
Yeah, this is Emperor's New Groove. Genetic manipulation.
No, that was just potions.
It was llama DNA.
Did they say there was llama DNA in that potion? Or did they just
It
be
was
like,
extract of llama.
okay. So the kid-friendly version.
Why is DNA not kid-friendly?
Well, just like understanding-wise. Like a kid might not understand what DNA is.
I don't know.
Neither do I. I don't remember when I learned DNA. Pretty sure it was like 7th or 8th grade. Anyway. The Doctor and Tegan kind of just run around in the caves for the rest of the series.
Yeah, the rest of the serial is devoted to political nonsense. There's that one guy who like tries to...
He starts getting sucked into the earth.
I don't know why they spend so much time on this, but he steals some food and he gets caught and he's like, well, everything's going to hell anyway, so yeah, I'm just going to take this. And they're like, fine, you can take that, but we're just going to kick you out. It'll probably only last you a couple days, so have fun out there. And as soon as he steps out of the colony, he gets attacked by his former friends, I guess, for the food. And then he gets sucked into the earth, but due to some weird circumstance, the
Doctor and Tegan distract the tractators.
Yeah, and he's spared, and they're like, he has the power over the earth, and he like becomes their god or something. And he does something later, but like I forget what.
He frees Norna.
Yeah,
but then he captures her. He's like, shut that girl up.
Yeah, the rest of the serial, like, nobody trusts each other, and even though they're all privy to, like, the greater threat that's going on here, they all know about it, and they figure out that Revere was trying to stop it by coming across a convenient piece of a map and some documents that he left behind.
Yeah. So Range abandons Turlough and Norna. He's like, I gotta save the Doctor. Then Norna and Turlough get found by Brazen and his team, and they get taken back up into the equipment room, and Turlough's like, well,
everything important happens in the equipment room.
So then Range gives up.
Well, Turlough starts going insane. This was one of the most interesting parts of the serial. he's like, the Tractators. Yeah, this is when we get his whole backstory about how what the Tractators are doing, which is infesting the planet from the inside out, I guess, and they're gonna drive the planet and take over more planets.
Well, they're already on the planet.
Yeah, and then the Doctor, when he pretends to side with the Tractators later, he makes this like kind of
magic.
interesting point to Tegan. He was like, "Well, the Tractators were here first," and I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of true, you know? Maybe the humans should just
Find their own
bug
planet.
off, get it bug off, because." But no, they don't do that. They kind of just use force and forcibly remove the Tractators.
Well, the Doctor makes the same point every time the Silurians show up. He's like, well, the Silurians were here first, but that doesn't really excuse the genocide that the Silurians attempted to do 2 serials ago. That doesn't, you know. Not that it excuses the genocide the humans were doing. Because it doesn't.
Yeah, well, everyone in Warriors from the Deep was a terrible person.
It's
So
true. Except the
everyone
main
here-
3.
yeah, and everyone here is kind of too, except Norna.
So, Range comes back up, and apparently Brazen's figured out that Range has like all these secret documents, because I think earlier Tegan mentioned something
yeah, she
that she
mentions
shouldn't
in
have
passing.
known.
It was like
It was something about
something
Revere.
deaths. It was like this key word
Oh,
that was like
Frontios buries its own dead or something like
no,
that?
it was like uncounted deaths or something, and she like mentions it in passing. She's like, "How do you know that phrase?" And she's just like, it's a common phrase. I could have heard it anywhere." And yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, she shows him Range's stash of conspiracy documents.
And there's this trial, this uninteresting trial that had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, it's in episode 4, I think. How does episode 3 end?
Episode 3 ends with Revere showing up because they're like, Revere isn't dead. Turlo tells them that Revere and Plantagenet aren't dead. And they're like, oh, wow, Revere's not dead. And then he shows up and he's in this weird contraption.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the... All right, never mind. All right, I'll just say it. It was kind of like the thing in The Grinch, that thing they like drive around town. There's like a bicycle attached to a caravan, attached to a trumpet. It had all these weird appendages. One of which was Revere's head.
Yeah, and he shows up to the Doctor and Tegan in episode 14. He's like, it's Revere. Is he dead? And the Doctor's like, well, no, the mind is still alive. Well, but he dies later in episode 4. They like find his corpse. Like, well, yes, he's dead now.
And they're like using him to power the machine, I guess.
Apparently, the Tractators need like mines to control the gravity planet.
Kind of lame after we just got that last serial. I'm okay with them reusing crap because they do it all the time, but maybe wait a little bit. I mean, like I've said before, I don't care how much they reuse the same plot points as long as they're cool, but I don't know. This was still
As
better
long as
than
they
Awakening.
add some cool appendages to the plot point. And by appendages, I mean like subplots. Anyway, now there's the trial of Range, and there's the court stenographer, I guess. She's like taking it all down, but she's also the
like
judge,
the
I
judge
guess.
and jury.
She's also asking Range the questions, and then Tolo starts blubbering on about the Tractators, and Range is like, off the record. Well, Brazen's like, off the record, please. And he starts interrogating Tolo.
Yeah, and then the Doctor and Tegan kind of avoid the Tractators for a while. Well, the Doctor like gets on the Gravis's good side. The Gravis is like the leader of the Tractators, and like apparently if he's gone, then they all are powerless. So
Yeah.
that was kind of lame. Now that I think about it, just like It's just one of those things where you just accept it, but you're like, yeah, all right.
Okay, whatever you say. Well, the Doctor's like, well, I wasn't sent you by the Time Lords. Apparently they know about the Time Lords.
Yeah.
The Doctor's like, I wasn't sent you by the Time Lords, but I do have my TARDIS. And like, we want to see your TARDIS. And he's like,
Well, as soon as he says TARDIS, he's just like, ooh. I do have my TARDIS.
I have the TARDIS hat stand.
Yeah. So they want to see his TARDIS.
And he's like, well, what machines do you have? So he like pulls an Adric and sells out Tegan.
And Turlo pulls a semi-Adric later when he's like, choose a hand, any hand.
That's more of a Doctor thing, though. The Adric was the flipping the coin. The Doctor was the hand thing, because I think it's a reference to Kinder. when they're trapped in the jail cell.
Oh yeah, they're playing that game.
Yeah.
I guess maybe, or maybe it's just complete coincidence. Either one is like pretty likely, so I don't know. Nor does it matter. Norna, does it matter? Okay, that was terrible.
that was pretty bad. So, yeah, the Turlo.
Well, he's a companion now.
Turlo explains to Brazen what he knows. He's like, oh yeah, they're like gonna wipe you all off the planet. So...
But they were here first. No, he doesn't say that.
Brazen and Range go into the cave because Range needs to show Brazen around the caves, even though Range has already shown that he doesn't know his way around the caves. So Turlo stays with Norna, but then Turlo's like, I gotta go save the Doctor. Because I guess he feels pretty bad for like abandoning the Doctor and Tegan down there.
Also, I think he feels like it might be sort of his responsibility to set things right, because he already knows about the Tractators. Maybe.
Well, I guess it's a good time to talk about this, but I liked Turlo's character development in this serial, because, like, in Sea Devils, Warriors from the Deep, he, like...
way back in season 7.
He was like, well, we gotta run away, we gotta leave him, and then in this serial's like, well, I can't run away, because, like, that's not the right thing to do, I should go down there and help.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I didn't even notice it, but yeah, I guess it's pretty interesting. And I like Turlo as a companion. And he has, like, a more detailed backstory than most of the companions, especially encountering an enemy that he's familiar with already. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I think Turlo's had some nice character development this season, which I think we'll talk about when he gets written out.
Yeah, honestly, Turlo has, like, the most character development, I think, of any companion. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there.
Probably. So far, at least.
Yeah.
So he goes down, he like fools Norna, he's like, pick a hand, and then both hands have the same thing. I don't remember what he says it is, but it's got a little hole in the middle. It's like you blow through the hole for good luck.
Yeah, it's just like a little piece of metal or something. I don't know.
He calls it something specific, but... So he goes down, and then Norna gets captured by the Raiders, I guess.
Yeah, that wasn't much. Well, I guess it was kind of a big point here.
Well, it's like most of the plot of episode 4 is what happens to Norna.
Yeah, but I mean, it was probably just there to
pad the runtime.
Yeah. So then they kind of just run around. Norna
gets rescued
escapes.
The dude everyone thinks is a god. And then she's like, no, Revere and Plantagenet are still alive. And he's like, shut her up. And they're all like, but they might be alive. So they like all crowd into the caves, I think. Doesn't really matter because they'd never show up again after that.
Yeah. And the Doctor and everyone else wind up in the TARDIS, which is like grafted into the cave walls.
Don't forget the scene where Plantagenet almost gets sucked into the machine, and the Doctor frees him when Brazen and Range show up, and then Brazen saves Turlo from getting sucked into the machine, and then probably dies, gets his head lopped off by that spike that looks like it's going to chop his head off. Yeah, Brazen makes a heroic sacrifice.
Yeah, poor Brazen. Not really, I didn't really care about Brazen.
But yeah, they end up in the TARDIS.
And then they're like, the Gravis is controlling everyone. And the Gravis shows up and he's like, what's up? I'm controlling everyone.
Well, there's that minor, also runtime padding. The Doctor, Turlo, and Plantagenet get separated from Tegan, but then 2 minutes later she finds the TARDIS. Like, the TARDIS. She finds them and it's like, hey, Tegan, we figured it out. Turlo remembered. He's like, well, if we just take the Gravis away, then, we'll be good.
And they I forget how they do it, but they zap the Gravis somehow.
This is actually really funny. The Doctor's like, well, I've got a plan. Let's hope it works. So he entices the Gravis into the console room. And then he's like, wow, see, this is where I control the TARDIS. And the Gravis hits a button, and the Doctor's like, oh no, you've revealed all the pieces of the TARDIS. It's beyond even your power to bring it back together. I guess we'll just leave and you can have the planet, Gravis. And he's like, no, I want the TARDIS. And the Doctor's like, no, please, leave me the TARDIS, Gravis. And the Gravis fixes the TARDIS. I just like the Doctor's obvious non-acting acting.
I guess that's one good thing about this serial is the acting didn't suck.
That's true. So the Gravis fixes the TARDIS and then hard cut to Turlo talking to Plantagenet just on the surface of the planet. And he's all like, well, I guess the Doctor's taking the Gravis back to his home, to some random planet.
Yeah, Plantagenet asks, is the Gravis dead? And he's like, no, we're just taking him to some uncharted planet where he can live out the rest of his days, cursing us.
Plantagenet's like, well, okay. The TARDIS lands.
I guess the rest of the Tractators are still underground.
Yeah, but they're powerless
Yeah,
now.
it's pretty dark. They're just like, dang, guess we can't do anything now. Guess we just have to live out our lives here underground.
The humans are probably going to come down there and massacre all of them later on now that they're powerless. I mean, let's be honest.
What if they institute a new Gravis? Maybe they can do that.
I don't know Tractator lore. They do come back, though, in the audio dramas. So
yeah, the Doctor leaves the hat stand with
the gift.
Yeah.
I guess he finally got rid of that hat stand. Then there's a scene where they're like, what would have happened if we hadn't shown up? And the Doctor's like, don't worry about it. And he also tells them not to mention it to the Time Lords, like Plantagenet and the colony. He's like, don't mention it. And then he's in the TARDIS if if what we did gets word to the Time Lords, we're going to be in big trouble.
That seems true for most of the things they do.
Yeah, I feel like he's massively changed the course of history now. The way they're making this out. But they probably won't ever follow up on it, so doesn't matter, I guess.
And the serial
It'd be cool if they followed up on it and they had a serial where they were they landed somewhere and the Doc's like, this isn't right, and then he realizes that it's all wrong because he changed the timeline on Frontios. That'd be cool.
Yeah, where the humans... Okay, I don't know. I don't know what they would have
I don't know
to
what
do,
the plot would be.
But yeah, then the serial ends with things going horribly wrong, and
they get trapped in some sort of time.
They're sucked into some thing or the other.
Next week it's revealed it's the Daleks, because we already know that because Dalek is in the name of the serial.
Or they're just going to write it off like they do so much.
Well, so that was that.
Yeah.
Not a terribly good serial.
This is shaping up to be one of the worst seasons, honestly.
Yeah.
Right up there with season 7.
Well,
season 7 wasn't bad. It was just not good at all. And that's true of this, too.
Yeah. Well, the first 2 serials were
bad. This one, I kind of like
the quality
this
has been steadily rising this season, but it still hasn't passed that threshold of bad to good. It's still on the bad side, but it's rising slowly.
Well, supposedly some of the later serials in this season are pretty great, so...
Yeah, maybe they just saved all the goodness for the final... Well, I've seen Twin Dilemma, which is the 6th Doctor's first serial. I'm just going to say that now because it doesn't really matter.
No,
So,
none of this really matters.
I mean, yes. But normally I don't reveal I've seen a serial till we actually watch it. But, like, it's the Sixth Doctor's first serial, so there's, like, nothing I can really spoil. Because it's, like... And that was, But we'll get there. But I did like Turlough's character growth / characterization in this serial. I thought that was pretty nice. It was nice to see him get, like, a backstory, because he's been pretty mysterious since he was introduced, and now we, like, know more about his planet.
Yeah, and like I said before, he's getting a lot of character development, first with the Black Guardian thing, and now this. So he's shaping up to be a pretty cool companion.
Yeah.
Watch him just have the most disappointing ride out of all time.
Still waiting for Chameleon to come back, though. Just cross your fingers that the Graph is, like, reconstituted Chameleon as well. So, I also like the Doctor. Getting pretty snarky.
600 episodes in. I also like the Doctor, by the way.
Yeah, the Doctor's a pretty good character. 136 episodes of this podcast. And yeah, I think the Doctor's a pretty good character. Taking me a while to decide, but I have some things that I want to say in the Doctor retrospective that I've noticed, I think, about the Fifth Doctor.
Was it that he got a haircut at the beginning of this season?
No. We should also mention all the people who died working on this serial. So, the original designer for this serial, like, did all the prep work and then went home and
died.
Took his own life, I think.
Oh, that wasn't the guy who got beaten to death?
No, that was the other. That was the guy who was originally cast to play Range.
Range.
Joseph Arn, I think his name was. Yeah, he went home.
Yeah, he went home and then got killed.
So the serial is surrounded by a lot of unfortunate occurrences, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of an understatement.
A little bit. So, that's a bit of a bummer. So,
oh, bummer. His friends and family. Oh, bummer. Darn. It's like that episode of Dragon Ball Z where someone gets killed right in front of all of his friends, and it's like a kid's show. So one of the characters just yells, "Darn it!" It's pretty hilarious.
Well, it was okay.
Well,
I don't think I have anything to say after that.
Email us. It's the first time I've said that in 136 episodes.
Email us at thedoctor@decorative.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, your tractator fan
letters.
Fiction. Oh yeah, did I forget love letters? Love letter. We never get any love letters anyway. No one loves us.
That's why we gotta keep saying it until we do. Can't just admit it now.
I guess, yeah, we're too deep in the tradition.
The outro tradition?
Yeah. The tradition that, like, didn't even get formed till like 40 episodes in. Find us on iTunes, YouTube, and Google Play, all at Trust Your Doctor. And the website is decorativvegetable.com.
Check us out on Facebook, Trust Your Doctor, like us on Facebook, and check us out on Twitter at TYD Podcast, and follow us on Twitter. And next week we watch Resurrection of the Daleks, but until then, the end.